I think, in my opinion, it's the most important hosting event in the world.
We are one of the SaaS Incubation Centre partners in Europe, one of the first ones. So this is the third time I've been to the event, which is really good to sort of reconnect with everyone and meet a lot of new people, see what's going on in the SaaS space and work with Microsoft. It's great.
Looking what Microsoft is doing for the partners in the hosting environment, meeting people who have been doing the same things that I'm going to do, and get the overall perspective of what the hosting is going to be in the future.
Well, this is the fourth one we've been to. We've been to all of them, and it's always a good time to come to find out what Microsoft thinks. It's really good to get industry analysis and insight, what others have to think. IDC, Gartner, Tier 1 I think has been here in the past, so it's always good to hear what the others have to say and make sure that our vision of where we want to go and what we want to do is sort of in line with sort of the industry trend.
When we were presented with the opportunity to sponsor this, and this was the first year that Microsoft actually did the sponsoring, we basically jumped to it. It was for us as a company, Planet Technologies is a very active partner for Microsoft since 10 years already in the comm sector. This was basically the opportunity for us to present ourselves as the market leader, as a system integrator in the field.
We think it's a really good opportunity to just connect with the community, see what people are doing, see what Microsoft has planned for the hosting industry in the future, and it's great content. There are a lot of interesting presentations, but it's also great to connect with people in the industry and connect with our Microsoft account team.
Microsoft and Parallels are very good partners. We're a gold partner of Microsoft, and this event has a lot of hosters and other ISVs and everybody that's taking place in the software as a service type of industry, and it gives us an opportunity to meet all of them in one place and under a very credible umbrella of Microsoft, so we're very happy to be here for that.
Well, Microsoft's a big partner of ours, so obviously it made sense for us to be here. It's just myself, but the idea that there's a lot of new products coming out. Virtualization's a big product on their technology roadmap right now, so there's a lot of good topics on that.
We think it's a great place, great avenue for us to meet potential partners. Our model is to help web hosting companies and other partners take our services, Exchange Hosting, SharePoint, CRM, and then resell them to their small business customers. And so for here, it's a great medium for us to meet them, talk to them face to face, and they get to find out about us, especially the international ones, because we ordinarily don't get that much exposure to international partners. And this is very heavily weighted towards international partners.
Well, I decided to come because I think it really has a lot of value to join the event. It provides the people that attend the event to have an outlook for the coming 12 to 18 months to find out how to move on, how to move forward, how to collaborate with Microsoft and to be on the top of the edge in the hosting industry.
What they're doing here is very open and it's very good because, well, the top executives, they're basically giving out their emails to people, and that is, they're basically very close. They speak to the partners as their peers, not, somebody else.
Well, so far this event's been great. The content's been really interesting. Some of it is, rehashing some things that we know already. But there have been some really interesting topics and debates, especially regarding Microsoft getting into the hosted exchange industry, competing a little bit with their partners, and it's been really good.
I think last year there was a little bit of cynicism around Microsoft getting into hosted services. This year people have accepted it. They see that they can twist and turn in different ways to be able to still survive and do well, and they don't feel that threat that I sort of sensed last year in the atmosphere.
It's gotten a lot bigger, that's for sure. It was very small the first couple we came to. It was more intimate, I think, but as it's grown, it's gotten even more interesting. I mean, the industry is changing so much. We're really kind of on the cutting edge and the leading edge, riding the wave of SaaS and ISVs and the whole bit. So it's different. The topics get different, but the atmosphere is essentially the same. It's helping. It's working with. It's how can we help you, make your business or continue your success in the industry.
There's a lot of room to compete in this industry. I think there's still a lot of fragmentation. There's still a lot of growth and evolution that's going to happen. And I don't think Microsoft competing is the end of the world, but I think that the way it's presented is not necessarily ideal. I think that they need to be a little bit more frank in saying, hey, we see opportunity here, we're going to compete, we think that we can succeed and you can succeed, but let's not mince words and let's not pretend that we're not going to compete, because we are.
It's actually a little bigger than I thought it would be. A lot more international customers for Microsoft. I think it's about 50-50. A lot of technology here, a lot of new stuff, and a lot of buzz about kind of the transformation of how Microsoft is integrating the channel in a new manner, as different than it was before. So for companies like ours, it's unique to hear those guys say that we're the driver of their revenues, not they're the driver of their revenues. So it's kind of interesting.
You know, certainly there's been some stuff that I've known about, and it's just reinforcing that. But there's a lot of stuff. Well, there's a number of things that I'm looking at a different way after being here for a couple of days. So for me, it's been more worthwhile than I thought, actually, but in a different way.
We have a lot of sessions, and it's good that we have this area outside to be able to network. But if there was more formal networking built into the event, I think that would be useful. Well, every time it's interesting to find out how we move forward. In this specific event, it's interesting to see what Microsoft will do in the hosting space themselves and how we as pure play hosters in our local market will cope with it.
All the information is kind of overwhelming, so if there was a criticism, maybe they're giving too much too quickly, you know, kind of thing. But other than that, I think bringing people in, having this type of setup too with specific partners so that you can see a little bit of what they have to offer, I think is, overall, I think it's a pretty positive thing.
Maybe do it in Europe. But so far, no criticism. It's a great event. Thank you, Microsoft, for doing this.
Just awareness. I think Microsoft is, really in a position right now where they're kind of changing their ways, and some of the things that they had negative lights on before are coming back around to positive lights. And I think that for this show to be so big and so well received by all the people here, I think it's a good sign that one, the industry is obviously very solid right now, especially for companies like myself, and there's a lot more coming down the road that is really kind of game changing to not just our industry but to technology in general. So it's really kind of exciting.
Well, it's a global event, right? There's a North American focus because we're in Seattle, but there are people, I think, from 89 countries here. And a whole bunch of Europeans, and I meet with the Microsoft Germany guys, the French guys, the UK guys as well, some of the Spanish folks too. So it's a global event.
It's a great gathering place where people from all around the world, they have a very worldwide focus, can come and exchange ideas. It's very good in terms of helping people get all their ideas and thoughts in one place and having a little bit of fun too. Got to practice a little bit of my bowling skills last night.
I think it brings to kind of consensus that the partners should work together and get information from each other so you can bring the solutions faster to the market. So I think that's the basic thing. You're not alone in the world also. There are other people struggling with the same problems that you are, and you have success stories also. So that is very good. That seeing somebody, I have already done it, I did it and it went well. So that's good.
The value, I think, number one is meeting other Microsoft people. Because we're all in our respective areas around the world, and it's hard to interface and see face-to-face the people at Microsoft beyond just our local partner account manager. See who it is, the people running the teams out of Redmond, get to work with them and figure out how it is that we have synergies. How can we bring them success? How can they bring us success? So to me, that sort of face-to-face interaction is really unique and very powerful.
Well, I think it's an important event because it will align partners all over the world, put the noses in the same direction. Myself, I'm the facilitator of hostinginbelgium.be, which is a local portal where we provide information towards the hosting business, and this event really is for me crucial because I will bring all the documentation back to Belgium to provide to the local market. So I think it's a good stuff that they do this.
Especially in medium to large companies, there's still a mindset that we want to do it ourselves or that hosting is not a viable option. And I think that Microsoft support legitimizes our business. It makes it more attractive to enterprise customers, and it makes it it creates opportunities for us.